Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we are starting something new but old. We're continuing with our descent into the HaChochma, into the Sea of Wisdom, trying to cultivate for ourselves the words of wisdom from the Tzaddik, the Goyin and the Tzaddik, the living Talmud, Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita, in teachings that were printed in Yam HaChochma Tafshin Ayin Gimel, which was the year 2011, 2012, where the Rebbe gave over shirim on all 15 memros, the 15 tales of Rabba Bar Chana as expressed on Daf Ayin Gimel in Maseches Bava Basra. Now, these tales represent a particularly unique and significant pivot point at which we're going to enter into the year Tafshin Pei Hey, in the sense that these shirim, in particular, the way that the Rebbe understands the nature of these Maisios of Rabba Bar Chana, represent the unity or the transition point between dry land and the sea. Between what we're going to see, dry land is going to be separation, it's going to be division, it's going to be compartmentalization, it's going to be the severing between one thing and the other to assure clear boundaries. And the sea represents the unity, the totality of all things flowing together with all of the inclusivity, with all of the illumination of unity happening in a place of infinite expression. Now, very often we see a stark opposition between the land and the sea. The land represents the moichin of bina. It represents our capacity to function through the lens of separation and particularity and severing and connecting and severing and connecting. And the sea represents the place where there's no need for severance or connection because everything is unified. That's the place of Chachma. The land represents bina and the sea represents Chachma. The stories of Rabba Bar Chana, which represent the transition points from dry land into the sea, are the stories of the transition from Bina into Chachma, moving from the particularity of experience, moving from all of the diminution of the self that comes about by way of needing to focus on small things or the smallness of ourselves and the grappling and the struggle that each and every person goes through in the dry land of their experience, and to try and create the bridge for us to enter into that place of the sea, of the watery nature of unity that is matahir all things, that reveals the achdus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is the transition point that we're aiming to get to move from the gullus of the land of particularity and to move into the sea, which is the universal quality of the yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's neskala everywhere in the secret of moving from Bina into Chachma. But what is obviously most unique about the Rebbe's teachings, which are really just the compilation of all of the tzaddikim who preceded him, especially the Hamshacha of the Yechidei Hadoros, Moshe Rabbeinu, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbeinu HaArizal, the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, Rabbi Nachman Nachal Nevei Makar Chachma, and coming down into the Torah of the Yam HaChochma, which draws down all of the particularities and all of these historical teachings into a singular place where it's undeniable to see with one's eyes wide open and to hear with one's ears wide open the revelatory power of the Torah when it speaks directly to where we find ourselves nowadays. That's the chiddush to one degree or another. One of the chiddushim of the Torah of the Yam HaChochma is that it draws down all of the Torah of the Yechidei Hadoros, all of the Torah of the historical tzaddikim who spoke of such lofty levels, up to and including Rabbeinu Nachman ben Fega, Zchus Yogan Aleinu. And what the Rebbe does is he draws it down into lived experience, into human experience, so that those of us who find ourselves at the bottom, those of us who find ourselves so far from the words of the Yechidei Hadoros, can nevertheless still draw down the tamsits, the quintessential expression of the Torah of the Tzaddikim, to revive our sleeping hearts, to revive our broken bodies, to revive us from within our hopelessness, and to elevate ourselves back up to own the role that we actually have, which is to be the generation that greets the face of Mashiach. That's the chiddush of the Yam HaChochma. The Yam HaChochma is building the kalim for our generation to be receptive of the lights of Mashiach, which are the Torah of the Yechidei Hadoros. So if a person was looking at only the Torah of the Yechidei Hadoros, if a person was looking at the way that the Torah had been expressed up until and including the Rebbe's teachings, so one would see this separation between dry land and the sea as a fundamental distinction, that there's the dry land of Bina, where a person operates in accordance to the left side of things, separation, severity, difficulty, struggle. And then the ideal is the sea, where a person has to run into in order to encounter the chachma, in order to encounter the bittul, and to run away from all struggle and to find transcendence and remove oneself from the concealment of the left side. But that's not what the Rebbe teaches us. What the Rebbe reveals to us, and what the Rebbe is revealing that all of the tzaddikim have always already only been saying, except that it only becomes clear when we see it revealed through the Yam HaChochma, is that the transition from dry land into the sea is not a one-time experience. It is not a singular step that reveals a seamless transition from distortion into clarity, but rather the movement from distortion of the dry land into the clarity of the sea is not so that we remain in the clarity of the sea, but rather that we can now descend back down into the distortion of the dry land and reveal how within the distortion of the dry land itself rests the clarity of the sea. That within the pratim themselves, within the bina themselves, within the separation, within the gvuros, within the tzimtzum, within the concealment, within the anxiety, within all of the symptoms that come about in accordance to each and every one of our hearts as we encounter the words of the tzaddikim, all of those qualities that we associate with the left side, those are not things that we're looking to get rid of, knock unconscious, and throw away as if they don't have any role in avodas Hashem. Adarabba, ipcha mastaber, our job is to move from concealment and go into the sea of clarity so that we understand the true power of the place of concealment. We could go back into the place of concealment and be megala and reveal how from within all of the particularity, in truth, there's going to be a doubled and a furthering of the expression and intensification of the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not only to leave the dry land of Bina and to enter into the sea of Chachma, but rather it's to leave the dry land of Bina, to ascend into the sea of wisdom, but then to go from the sea of wisdom back down into the dry land of Chachma, revealing how the dry land itself is the very site in which we have always already been encountering the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in spite of the fact that it appears to be the opposite. Because when we come to that recognition that the opposite is also working at the service of the Yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we are megala the truest level of the Yichud, which is ani v'ayin b'vasachas. The dry land is ani. It's the sense of self. It's bina. It's separation. It's distortion. It's my sense that I am in control of everything. And then if I am not on top of everything, then things will fall apart, which gives birth to the anxiety of day-to-day experience. The sea is ayin. The sea is bittul. The sea is the overwhelmingness by the grandiosity of all things and the smallness of the human being and the self-nullification in the face of the endlessness of the sea. So very often, like we said, those things seem to be in stark opposition to one another. But in the Torah of the HaChochma, what we see is the unification between the two of them. That first and foremost, a person finds themselves in the state of ani. They find themselves in the state of dry land. They find themselves in bina. Then they have to transition into the place of ayin, into the place of the ocean, into the place of chachma. But the ascent into the place of chachma is not to ignore the ani of bina, but rather to illuminate the ani of bina to show how every element of self, every element of bina, every element of distortion and concealment and darkness and struggle is all there just to become a receptacle to reveal the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinitude with even more intensity and even more ferocity, revealing the true secret of ani v'ayin b'vasachas, the yichud of Chachma and Bina, not the nullification of Bina for the sake of Chachma or the nullification of Chachma for the sake of Bina, but rather the balancing act and the secret of ani v'ayin b'vasachas, where it's Chachma and Bina biyachad that are going to be megala, the ikar or of the sha'ashuam ha'amitim, which is the secret of Keser Elyon Olav Nikra, which is what we're trying to experience in our day-to-day lives in this year. This is expressed, as we've spoken about in the original shiurim that we gave on the Rebbe's teachings, that the title Yam HaChochma itself represents this unification and the synthesis between Bina and particularity and Chachma and the universal quality of wholeness, in the sense that the Yam is Gematria 50. Yam is going to be the Nun Sha'arei Bina. It's going to be the distortion of Bina, the separation of each and every Sha'ar in accordance to its own most identity. Those 50 questions that HaKadosh Baruch Hu poses to Eov, those 50 questions that each and every one of us ask ourselves, that process of Bina, of clarification and concealment, clarification and concealment, clarification and concealment, all of the inyanim of Bina, the secret of Mi, which is the osios of Ma, Mi, the osios of Yam, which is the secret of Bina, but it's also going to be Yam HaChochma, the light of Chachma. So how could it be that the Yam, which is the secret of the Bina, the Nun Sha'arei Bina, and the Chachma, which is the Bittul, which seems to be in stark opposition to the light of Bina, because it's the place of Chachma, the Torah of the Rebbe is Megala sign on the yichud between Chachma and Bina of Ani and Ayin b'vasachas. Now, all of the Torah of the Rebbe that are Megala, this yichud, are only hakdamos to experiencing that yichud that is Neskala when a person goes to the Beis Medrash Hanikra Shem HaTzadik, when a person goes and encounters and sees the Tzadik davening. But nevertheless, learning the Torah of the Tzadik and attaching oneself to the words and the osios of the Tzadik is Ma'ir the Nefesh, in order to allow the Nefesh and the body become a receptacle that can receive the illumination of the Ruach. And when our our emotions are properly functioning in the right way, then we become the receptacle of our neshama, and it gives us the ability to draw down the light of the Chai and the Yechida, to mamish all of us to become tzaddikim, like Rabbi Nachman says, Yachol kamoini kamoini mamish, that what Rabbi Nachman wanted from each of us is that each and every one of us should be exactly like him in our own way, that each and every person should come to uncover the inner nakud of tzaddik within themselves by way of connecting to the tzaddik hador, by way of connecting to the tzaddik of the Yechidei Hadoros, so that when learning the words of the tzaddik hachai, we can connect ourselves to the tzaddik that's already nifter, which is the secret of learning the Torah of Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern in order to connect more deeply to the Torah of Rabbi Nachman, and then to draw the Torah of Rabbi Nachman back down through the concealment of our own experiences into our lives. And that is going to be fully expressed in the Maisim of Rabba Bar Chana. The Maisim of Rabba Bar Chana, as we're going to see, represent this transitionary period, the process of grappling with the movement from the dry land to the sea, from the sea to the dry lands, from Bina to Chochma, from Chochma to Bina, from Ani to Ayin, from Ayin to Ani, and forcing us to see the rapid changes and the rapid oppositional movement that's taking place at every moment, which leads us to the only real consideration, which is the fact that everything is happening at once and everything is unified together. It's not that it's one and two, but rather the one and the two are serving to reveal a unified synthesis that emerges to reveal itself as even stronger than what the one and the two could have revealed on their own. That's the secret of the Torah of the tzaddik. It's the secret of ani v'ayin bevasachas. That's Megala, the yichud of Chochma and Bina, to be ma'orer, the hasaga of not being able to be masig the light of Keser, which is the hisoirus of the sha'ashuim amitim, to become kelim amitim of the bittul, to draw down the moichin of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Now, the Vilna Gaon, as the Rebbe brings down in the Hakdama to Tafshin Ayin Gimel, where these teachings were printed, the Vilna Gaon writes in his beer on the Tikkunei Zohar, in Tikkun Chaf Aleph, about the secret of the Gilui of Pnimiyas HaTorah B'sof HaYamim, that in the end, there's going to be a transition away from the Torah of the land, which is Niglos HaTorah, which is the six-sided nature of good, bad, allowed, not allowed, and Tameh and Tahor, which is going to represent the six Sidrei Mishnah, and it's going to represent the 6 days of the week, and it's going to represent the process of Birurim, a person has to go through the secret of Bina. And the transition to Pnimiyas HaTorah, so the Sodas HaTorah, which are compared to the Yam, is going to be the movement into Chachma, the movement into a place of Bittul, the movement into a place of self-nullification that seemingly denies the reality or denies the significance of spending time on the particulars. But as the Vilna Gaon points out, the Iker Giloy of La'asilavo is not that this dry land of revealed Torah is going to be nullified, and that all we're going to do is live in the watery, oceanic sense of Nistaros HaTorah, but rather it's going to be a Haflach Liam Liabasha. That Haflach Liam Liabasha means that the sea which reveals that which is concealed, and the land which is revealing that which is revealed, is going to be one and the same, that the ground is going to become the seat of the sea, and the sea is going to be as revealed as the ground, meaning that the moichin of Chachma, the moichin of Bittul and Ayin are going to be revealed within the Kalim of Ani, within the Kalim of Bina, to the degree that there's going to be an ultimate unification between Nigla and Nister, between the dry land and the sea, and a person is going to come to the recognition of Roka Haratzalamayan, that we've always been walking through the sea, that we're always swimming upon the land, and it's going to reveal the unification of Chachma and Bina together. That is what the Hisgalus of Pnimiyas HaTorah Ba'achris HaYamim is, so that we don't run from dry land of the concerning elements of Bina into the oceanic sense and unity of Chachma simply to escape the concealment of Bina, but rather we run into the ocean to carry the waters of the ocean back to the dry land, so that we can reveal that the dry land itself is not only fundamental to revealing the light of the ocean, but it's as powerful, if not more, than the ocean itself and the secret of Ani v'ayin b'vasachas. Now, like we've said in the past, and like we'll always have to say over and over, and we'll never say it enough, what we're going to see is my humble understanding of the teachings of Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita. We're going to spend time reading the words themselves and translating the words, because we're going to be sharing the writings so that people can be masig the osios. We'll spend the time explaining when we need to explain, but primarily we're going to be learning these ideas together. So everything that you hear from me is going to be my humble understanding, with no claim to imply that this is the intentionality of the tzaddik, because the letters themselves of the Torah, the tzaddik, is not enough to convey what the tzaddik actually was trying to convey. Even though the writings are written down by the Talmidei Muvhakim, all of the Torah, like Rabbi Nachman says, of the true tzaddikim, go through tzimtzumim upon tzimtzumim upon tzimtzumim upon tzimtzumim in order to be revealed in the quintessential way that they're being revealed to us. So learning the words of the Rebbe's Perush on Rabba Bar Chana and orienting connecting ourselves to the Pirush on the Sipuri Maisios of Rabba Bar Chana and Bava Basra, and Ayin Gimel and Amud Daled, Amud Aleph and Bava Basra. So that is going to be a segula for us to attach ourselves to the living Talmud of the Tzaddik, which is Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita, the Talmud of Rabbi Nachman in our generation. And by connecting ourselves to the Torah of the Tzaddik Hador, by connecting ourselves to the Torah of Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita, and attaching ourselves to the HaChochma, we attach ourselves to the light of Nachum Levei Makar Chochma. We attach ourselves to the light of Rabbeinu, who also started his Sefer Likutei Maran with an explanation on the Mamrim of Rabba Bar Chana, because this was also what the Torah of Rabbi Nachman was about, the unification of Ani and Ayin B'vasa Achas, the realization that Bina and the dry land and Chachma and the sea are both equally fundamental towards the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unbridled and impossible and ungraspable unity. And by connecting ourselves to the Torah of Rabbi Nachman, we connect ourselves to the Neshama of Rabba Bar Chana, we connect ourselves to that secret of being a wayfarer, to that secret of being the Nechusei Yama, those souls that are tasked with the responsibility of unifying together the dry land and the sea, of revealing the unifications between Chachma and Bina, of making the connections, of sewing the tears back together to reveal how Aniva Ayin B'vasachas are operating at once. So we're going to learn the words, Be'ezras Hashem, we're going to try and encounter some of the ideas, and what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through the Hakdama that the Rebbe has to why he was going through these Maisios of Rabba Bar Chana, and the Rebbe says everything that needs to be said, so we're not going to spend too much time with the Hakdamos other than what we did right now. And Be'ezras Hashem, through reading the words of the Tzaddik and attaching ourselves to the Nekuda of Torah, that the Tzaddik is being Megala, the Panim of the Tzaddik that's Niskala in his Torah, and the Panim of the Tzaddik remains attached to the Torah that was said 20 years ago, 18 years ago, 16 years ago, up until all of the Torah of the Tzaddik is still, when a person learns them, they're being ma'orer, the das of the Tzaddik from within those teachings, even though those teachings were said so long ago, which is why when we read the words of the Tzaddikim, even if they are hundreds and hundreds or thousands of years past, by reading them, we awaken that potency, we awaken their sfas of doivers bekever, that their lips begin to quiver and speak out the same ideas that we're learning, even though those neshamos are departed for so long. Nevertheless, by learning the Torah and making it relevant for ourselves in the here and now, we uncover the latent intentionality that the tzaddik had contained within the original moment that they were conveying these words for those who are going to understand it later on in the secret of Kisvu Zos Lador Acharon, that write these words down for the future generations, because when the future generations come to read the words, so then they're reawakening the true intention of the Mechaber, especially when we have a tzaddik who is alive with us, and Yamim Al Yamei Melech Toisiv Shnoisav B'chol Davador, and a tzaddik who's going to lead us to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu Be'ezras Hashem, and so we have the doubled schus or tripled schus or whatever the amount of schusim are to enter into these words. So Be'ezras Hashem, we're going to look at Rav Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita's Perish Al Sipuri Maisios, the Rabba Bar Chana. Hakdama LeSipuri Maisios, the Rabba Bar Chana. Zok the Heilige Rebbe. Hini yesh li yadash sipuri maisios de Rabba Bar Chana him bechinas sipuri maisios meshanim kadmonios aleihem medaber Rabbeinu Zal b'Likutei Maran kama Torah samech kama shekasav gaon uzenu moreno harav Rabbi Nassan in Likutei Halachos Choshen Mishpat Hilchos Geneva Halacha Gimel. That the Rebbe is connecting immediately the stories of Rabba Bar Chana, the 15 stories and strange tales of the seafaring and the connection between Chachma and Bina, and learning how to be in a ship that connects the dry land and the sea. Those are inherently connected to the same secret that Rabbi Nachman was trying to do in Sipur Maisios Meshanim Kadmonios, with his tales of ancient days, that the tzaddikim, in order to uncover the true potency of their Torah, they sometimes have to go beyond the Torah to reveal the Torah of Sipurim, as Rabbi Nachman describes there in Torah Samech, which is about how to be woken up from a slumber when one has grown so unconscious to the slumber that even Torah, regular Torah, is not going to wake a person up. So there's a secret of Sipuri Maisios Meshanim Kanmonios, awakening the self from within that place of Atik Yomin, that most ancient place that we don't know yet, but when we hear about it, we know intuitively that it's fundamentally true. The Torah of Rabba Bar Chana, the Sipurim of Rabba Bar Chana, like the Sipurim of Rabbi Nachman, or the Sipurim of Rabbi Nachman, like the Sipurim of Rabba Bar Chana, are reaching all the way up to the secret of Atika Stima'a, to the concealed Torah that's going to be revealed, the Asad Lavo, to that post-traumatic Torah that contains within itself the pre-traumatic Torah. It reveals the light of Atik down here in the realm of our graspability. These Torahs cannot yet be revealed in a revealed way. The Torah of Atikas Tima'a, the Torah of Keser Elyon Alav Nikra, which reveals fundamentally how Ani va'ayin b'vasachas cannot be fully revealed yet, so we still have to operate in the transition between Ani and Ayin, and we're still not in that place of b'vasachas. It can't be fully revealed. Mipnei Torah da Atikas Tima'a hu or ha'atzmi shel ha'Torah shemisgalul asalav. Why can't this Torah be revealed? Is it because that there's something wrong with us, or we're symptomatic and we can't grasp it? No, Adarabba, the Rebbe says the reason that the Torah of Atikas Tima'a, which is the essential light of the future Torah that's going to be revealed, is because that Atzmus cannot be revealed without a Levush right now. That Hasaga that we're going to have of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the fact that we've never left, there was never a Tzimtzum, there was never anything other than the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's not yet revealed because that's the Bechina of the Torah, the Atzmus Elikus, the Loi Levushay HaTorah HaNiglas Shelefanenu. The secret of what's going to be revealed in the future is going to be the essential Torah of the essential revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kavyachol. Whenever the Rebbe uses the word Atzmus, whenever any tzaddik uses the word Atzmus, obviously we know from the Rebbe that we're not talking about Atzmusa Yisbarach Chas V'Shalom or Kavyachol, that we've gained the full grasp of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's essential nature, which is an absolute impossibility because Kedushasi L'Mala Mikdusha Seichem. So this notion of Torah, the Atzmus Elikus, Loi Levushay HaTorah HaNiglas Shelefanenu, the Torah of the essential expression of godliness without the containing vessels or the garments of the revealed Torah that stands in front of us, that doesn't mean it's the fullness of the Torah that's revealed, because Torah Hashem Tamima, there will always be more to be revealed. But this secret of the Torah of the Atzmus without the Levush of the Torah HaNigla means that it's going to be the shift from the Torah of Nigla as we understand it today to the shift of what the Torah HaNigla is going to be in the future. Zayis HaTorah lo tiyeh muchlefes. The Torah of Atikas Tima is not an undoing of the Torah of Bri, Tzira, and Asiyah. It's not an undoing of the revealed Torah, God forbid. Rather, it's a revelation that the revealed Torah has always already contained within itself the truth of the concealed Torah, and now the revealed Torah is going to be revealed in a new way, how it was always serving as a kli to the concealed Torah. This is the secret of the Torah being meskalul asalavo, and even according to the Meforshim who say that mitzvos are mevutalim la'asalavo, which implies some actual legitimate notion of undoing the revealed Torah, the Rebbe has been mevarer and clarified over and over, especially in Hasaskama, to the Bilvavi Mishkan Evnes Perish on Rechovas Hana'ar, that the Rebbe explains very clearly over there that whenever the tzaddikim talk about mitzvos being mevutal asilavo, they're only mevutal from the erech of our hasaga of them, b'makom and zman, of time and spatial orientation in accordance with our own limited framework. That's what is going to be mispatel, but not the shorish of the Torah, not the shorish of the mitzvos themselves. Uka'es, and now, even though we can't access this Torah, yicholim hasoides lehiskales rak b'tzura shel hislabshus b'soich hasipurim maisios. Now, because that Torah cannot be revealed in its essential form, it has to be concealed and mislabesh in Sipurei Maisios, in the telling of tales, in narrative structure, in a reawakening that is going to be ma'or, a different part of the self, not the mind, but rather the innermost heart that connects the mind to the body itself. That's going to be the only way that the Heilig Sodos of Atikas Dima is going to be able to be in the skala. That's the secret of Rabbi Nachman Sipurei Maisios as well. And this is what's explained in the Kutei Halachos, where Rabbi Nassan describes that Megillas Esther is also the secret of Sipurei Maisios Meshanim Kanmunios, because the light of Torah of Purim, the Torah of Achshav, the Torah of the Asad Lavo, the Torah of connecting the dry land and the sea, the Torah of the Sipurei Maisios, none of that can be fully revealed, and therefore it has to be revealed by way of Sipurei Maisios, as Rabbi Nassan describes in Hilchos Purim, Halacha Aleph. There's also what the Leshem Shabbat Chaloma explains based on the Gra, that the Iker Gilui of Soda Satorah is within Agadatos Hashas, because Agadatos Hashas are the secret of that Talmud Lav Hagunle, where Moshe Rabbeinu is buried in an inappropriate place. And it's a strange orientation of crooked tales and strange things that become the laughing stock of people and the enemies of the Jews who want to deny the veracity and the depth of insights hidden within every word of Chazal. Moshe Rabbeinu is buried. The Das of Moshe, the Das of Geula, the Das of Hafach Elam Yabasha is hidden within a Talmud of Haganle. It's hidden within the snake itself, and that's the place of Agadata. That's the place of the bilbul and the leitzanas that people throw into Torah Shabbal Peh. And that's why specifically the Agadatos of Rabba Chana are going to be the way that we're ma'orer drawing the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is hidden in the Talmud of Haganle, buried next to Baal Pa'or, buried in that place of concealment that denies the connection between Bina and Chachma. And this is where the Torah of Geula is going to be buried. Zak the Heilige Rebbe in Ois Beis. Umuvan zos gam mimasha matzinu sherabeinu zal pasach es sifro hakadosh anoira lekutim aran bebir maisios de Rabba bar bar Chana. Not only is it hashra, we're not just guessing that the maisios of Rabba bar bar Chana, the 15 maisios of Rabba bar bar Chana, are connected to the 13 tales of Rabbi Nachman, but rather there's a clear and inherent connection between Rabbi Nachman and the stories of Rabba bar bar Chana, as proven in the fact that the Lekutim Maharan starts off with a commentary on the tales of Rabba bar bar Chana. Shehalo Rabbeinu zal b'taraso bo lahach why did Rabbi Nachman start his Torah with those strange tales of ancient days? He started his Torah with those strange tales because the Torah of Rabbeinu is the Torah that allows us to become the vessels necessary to reveal the Torah of Atikas Dima in the future. The secret, innermost, essential point of the Torah that rests underneath all of the levushim that are coming to conceal and reveal the Torah. But we also know that the tzaddikim have not yet received rishus or permission from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to reveal these teachings in a revealed way. But Rabbi Nachman goes through them, revealing them one step after the other, slowly but surely. Each and every Torah in Likutei Moharan also has the hidden element of the Sefer HaNisraf, the burnt book in it, also has the hidden element of the Sefer HaGanuz within it, also has its own sipur, also has its own tefillah. Those are the levushim that are being megale, the etzem haTorah, which is what Rabbi Nachman was coming to prepare the generation for, to prepare our generation in particular for. What is it? What is it about Sipurei Maisios? Why are the strange, mundane tales of human experience in realms of concealment, things that appear to be so devoid of spiritual content, so human in their expression, why is it that those things become the vessel necessary for revealing the Torah of Asikas Tima'ah? Because when we are able to transform the mundane narratives of day-to-day life into the vessel that reveals the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we reveal that the entirety of our experiences, the entirety of the world, the entirety of our experience internally in our narrative structure is all simply a revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chola maisios ha'olam hu gilui ha'Torah. Sipurei Maisios reveals the Torah of Atikas Dimara, reveals the Maisim of Rabba bar Chana, reveal that every element of a person's life is something that is nidrash as Torah. Every encounter that I have, all of the stories that I go through, all of the Sipurei Maisios that my mind takes me through, and that my body experiences, and that all of my processes are leading me through in the day, all of that is a hisgalus of the Torah. That's the secret of Sipurei Maisios, that our narratives are part and parcel of the Torah that's being revealed. That's the Torah of Atzmus. That's the Etzem HaTorah. Ulazeh Messiah HaSipurei Maisios sha'oiskim be'inyanei ha'olam u'megalim drachim b'soidis gavoyim v'gilei elikus. And this is what we see in Sipurei Maisios, where they're discussing very simple things, trees and chairs and grass and running and enemies and flowers and water and kings and princesses and evil mountains and positive eagles and all of these seemingly physical, mundane things. In that place, Sipurei Maisios reveals to us how they become the receptacles themselves of the greatest possible imaginable secrets of Torah that have no end to their value, to that have no end or limit to their grasp. Im Kain, and therefore Psicha Sifro, the beginning of Rabbi Nachman's Sefer, of Likutei Moharan, hu b'mamrei Chazal b'Rabba bar Chana. Rabbi Nachman starts off with these stories because what Rabbi Nachman is trying to be megalata, says the Rebbe, is that every element of a person's life is an akud of Torah. Every element, especially those parts of our lives that don't necessarily seem like they're a revealed place of Torah. If it appears that I can't find Torah in that place, it appears that I can't connect to the Asam Marmaros, as Rabbi Nachman says in Torah Yud Beis and Ayeh Makom Kvodo, that just means a person has to dig down deep to reveal the Sipurei Maisios there, to reveal how that experience that seems devoid of Torah is in truth a revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's greatness in my life within concealment itself. That's why Rabbi Nachman started off with Rabba bar Chana. V'amnan Rabbeinu zal gilui b'ma'amarav soides nishkavim v'nayroim ad ein kates atmunim u'mirumazim b'mamri Rabba bar Chana. And what we see in the beginning of Likutei Moharan, that every statement that Rabba bar Chana said, every utterance, every sikhet that Rabba bar Chana offered, and every enigmatic statement which appears to be so devoid of spiritual content because it's just a strange kind of mystery, and it seems that the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is now contained in these ugly vessels of meaninglessness, Rabbi Nachman reveals how each and every one of them contain profound and frightening secrets without limit to the depths of what's hidden within those words. And we know already from Chayei Moharan, it's a Kabbalah that Rabbi Nassan received from Rabbi Nosson received from Rabbi Nachman, that Rabba bar Chana ba'atzmoi bikesh me Rabbeinu Zal shiyain b'ma'amar of shuhu yigala loy me seidos of agnuzim bahem. That this was a task, this was a shlichus that Rabbi Nachman took upon himself, that the neshama of Rabba bar Chana himself came to try and encourage Rabbi Nachman to access this secret of the fact of the depths of Torah, the depths of meaningfulness that are hidden within things that apparently appear insignificant on the outside. And the Rebbe now is going in Os Gimel to be Megala why this is not only something that Rabbi Nachman was able to carry out for Rabba bar Chana, but rather this is something that the Talmidim HaChaim of Rabbi Nachman also have a responsibility to do, because Rabbeinu wanted us to go in his path, which is the Rebbe revealing why the Rebbe himself is able to do this. V'hinei muvan mikama sichos kodesh shel Rabbeinu Zal. It's clear from numerous statements of Rabbi Nachman that Rabbi Nachman sheRabbeinu Zal gilui la'anashav sheritzoynei sha'anashav yishtadlu, that the desire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that the desire of Rabbi Nachman is that the people who follow him should put in an effort, lalechet gamkein b'drachav hakadoshim, that we should imitate. Just as we have a responsibility of imitating Hakadosh Baruch Hu, we also have a responsibility of imitating the tzaddikim. How do we know? We see that a person is tasked with connecting to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. How can a person connect it with the essence of Hakadosh Baruch Hu? Alo eish ochlo, isn't the essence, isn't the atzmus of Hakadosh Baruch Hu removed from us? So Chazal say, you're right. Es l'rabos tamid chachamim, that when a person connects themselves to the tzaddik, when a person is makasha themselves to the Torah of the tzaddik yesod olam, and we rely upon the Torah of the tzaddikim, so in that way we're attaching ourselves to the derech of the tzaddik who is doing his best to imitate the drachim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. So again, there's the 3 points of connectivity. There's the tzaddiko shel olam, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's the tzaddik yesod olam, which is the living tzaddik in each and every generation, and the living student of Rabbi Nachman in each and every generation, as well as each and every one of us and our nekuda of tzaddik and amich kulam tzaddikim. And the job is for the tzaddik yesod olam, for the living tzaddik, to be magala, the nekuda and the shidduch between the Nakud of Tzaddik within us, of Amech Kulam Tzaddikim, with the Tzaddik Shalolim, like the Baal Tefillah who takes the Tefillos of the Kehillah and elevates it back up by way of being the Shliach Tzibor, of not doing anything on his own, but being the Shliach Tzibor. And that's why Rabbi Nachman wants us all to follow in his paths. Yadua sheRabbeinu Zal nahag l'saper al atzmo v'al madrigos hanaraos b'chtei shenirtza leleches be'ekvoisav u'b'drachav v'kadoshim k'de'isa b'sichos haran. How do we know that Rabbi Nachman wanted us to follow in his path? How did we know that Rabbi Nachman wanted us to do as he did, to follow in the same attempt to reimagine external experience, to reimagine these seemingly meaningless cases of Agadata and these strange concealed places that are appearing devoid of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? We know that Rabbi Nachman spent a lot of time speaking about the grand nature of his neshama, the grandiosity kavyachol of the hisparus that Rabbi Nachman revealed about himself, that ani nahar hametaher mikol tamim, that mikol tamim, that chidush kamoni lohaya me'olam, which appears to be so far and distant from the notion of what a tzaddik would be. A tzaddik is an anav. A tzaddik doesn't speak about themselves. Elama, how could it be that Rabbi Nachman was speaking so much about himself? So there are many, many ways to reveal this, and it's fundamentally connected to the secret of ani va'ayin bevasachas. And it was the secret of allowing each and every neshama to understand its true power. That the truth of the matter is that when Rabbi Nachman was speaking about himself, he wasn't only speaking about himself, he's speaking about each and every person. And that each and every person, just as Rabbi Nachman was the tzaddik yesod olam, each and every person is a bechin of tzaddik yesod olam in their own worlds. And as a result of our being a tzaddik yesod olam in our own worlds, we have to also be able to speak this way about ourselves. We have to be able to say about ourselves, chidush kamoni lo haya me'olam, or ani nahar hametaher mikolok tamim, or natzachti v'anatzeach gamarti ve'egmor. Every single expression in the Likutei Moharan needs to be understood as well, how it applies to me and how I can uncover that place of avoda within myself by way of ratzon, by way of ahava, by way of tshuka, ga'aguim, hishtadlus, yigia. But kamoini mamish, Rabbi Nachman spoke about his madrigos in order that we should want to try and follow those madrigos as well. He wasn't speaking about himself; he was speaking about stam nishmas Yisrael. The only thing that Rabbi Nachman said we didn't have to follow is milvad inyan hasigufim v'hatanios v'halichos kol hayom bepanim shel lev nishbar. Rabbi Nachman said, learn from everything except for the marish chayret that you think that I have. Learn from everything except the sigufim, the renunciation of the body, and the tainis, and the fasting, and the halicha kol hayom bepanim shel lev nishbar. That's not where we have to imitate Rabbi Nachman's avodah. That's not where it's our job to be talmidim and to be chasidim of Rabbeinu. We don't have to walk around with a Lev Nishbar. We have to transform the Lev Nishbar into a Lev Basar, into the secret of Breslov. Sha'osam Shalom Rabbeinu Zal me'anashev shelo ya'asu kamoisam behem. Rabbi Nachman said with regards to those attitudes of concealment and Marash Chayra that Rabbi Nachman was oisik in his own way, that's something we have to push away from ourselves. But everything else we have to really learn from. U'kafi amuvan mizeh, k'sha'anu nishtadel alechas bedrachav shal Rabbeinu Zal, yisayel lanu Rabbeinu Zal ba'avodeseinu. That l'chayra, as it works in Shemayim, as it says, Haba l'tayr Masayinu. So when a person wants to walk along the path and walk along the footsteps of the tzaddik Yesod Olam and encounter the avodah of that tzaddik, so then HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'shluchav are going to come and give us strength to open up our hearts, to reveal that latent capacity within ourselves to, actually grow. V'amru al kach tzaddikim, and the tzaddikim said on this, shenishmosheim tzad tzaddikim mesayimim biyad ha'adam ha'retzu mishtadal alechas b'darchei avodasam. So the Chazal say as follows, Habalatayr Messiah Nasam, that somebody wants to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and purify themselves, then Shemayim is going to offer them help. The Amru Akach Tzadikim, the Yitev Panim says this, in the name of the Chayzim Ilublin, that what does it mean that we're going to be helped from Shemayim? That the neshamos of the tzaddikim, whose paths that we want to walk down, are going to come down to us as an ibur neshama to one degree or another, in order to awaken within us and to give us the strength to persevere forward in the marching down in their footsteps. And through this we'll be zoichet to be the chasidim and to follow through with the nekuda tova that Rabbeinu Zal believed each and every neshama of Klal Yisrael had, that Moshe Rabbeinu believed that each and every neshama of Klal Yisrael has, that Rashbi understood each and every neshama has, that the Arizal understood, that the Baal Shem Tov understood. Ukamosha Amar Sha'al Yedei Nidvak Boy V'Nespatel Elav. And just as Rabbi Nachman said to those who wanted to follow in his path and who nullified themselves to his path and walked along his path, that they would merit to experience the level of kamoini mamish, that we're literally like the tzaddik because we're revealing the nukud of tzaddik within ourselves, that the tzaddikim are daimim lebayram, and in the same way that the tzaddikim are daimim lebayram, we can understand how we're daimim to the bayra as well. As Chazal have told us, al mitzvahs ubo tedakfun, that we should come and have dvekas with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but Chazal say, like we said. But how can we come to have absolute dvekas with HaKadosh Baruch Hu if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like a fire that consumes? But it doesn't mean to become the essence of that thing. It simply means to imitate. It simply means to learn the art of being an ape to Kedusha, of being a kuf to Kedusha, that Kol Klal Yisrael B'fnei Hashchina is like a koif, and all of the Nevi'im in front of Moshe Rabbeinu are like a koif. We have to uncover the schoik ha'elyon in our ability to pretend to be like the tzaddik, and when we pretend to be like the tzaddik, then we are connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Through the concealment itself and our inability to reach the level of absolute connection, we actually encounter the experience of deikus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kachi gam derech lagabe mitzvahs adveikus b'chachamim. So too, when we connect ourselves to the tzaddikim, just as when we connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we cannot connect directly to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to direct by way of the tzimtzum, by way of the Torah, by way of the mitzvos, and it's only through the recognition that I can't connect without the Torah and the mitzvos, that I connect to that thing which is beyond the Torah and the mitzvos. It's only through the midos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kavyachol, as the Rabba clearly states over and over, it's a love b'derech midosav, that I'm only reaching a love to him by way of his traits, because Pasuk says, B'chol karenu a love, that we're always reaching out to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zak Heliga Chazal, that a love v'loy l'midosav, directly to him, but not to his midos. It's impossible to go directly to him. We can only go to his midos, but now Chazal are telling us that we can't go to his midos, we have to go directly to him. Zak the Heilige Rebbe, in the name of the Ramami Pano and all of the tzaddikim, is that it's a love b'derech midosav. We reach out to him by way of his traits. We're not reaching to the trait, God forbid. We're aware that the trait, that Zer Anpin, that the symptom is a fundamental expression of the infinite light's capacity to be mitzamsim itself and to be megal itself, mi bein shnei akruvim, mi bein badei ha'aron, in the secret of the Aron HaKodesh, the Evan HaShasiyah, which is the shorish of all of the tzimtzumim and the radical secret of Kahaden Kamsa, the levushim in Eyubei, the locust whose exoskeleton emerges from within itself, which is a secret that all tzimtzumim and all gvul is just a revelation of the Bilti Bal Gvul. But we can't access the Bilti Bal Gvul, the unlimited, without gaining access to the limitation itself. It's mediated immediacy. I can't reach immediacy. I can't directly reach out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but I can go by way of mediation to attach myself to the immediacy that rests within the mediation itself, the secret of Ani b'Ayin b'Vasachas. Just as that quality is true with regards to the relationship between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on a smaller, certain level that is applied, as Rabbeinu says over and over, and as Chazal themselves say, the same is going to be true with regards to our connection to the tzaddikim. So even though we can't connect directly to the path of the tzaddikim, we don't know anything about what the tzaddikim are doing whatsoever, and all we can do is be mitrokin ourselves and empty ourselves to be a vessel to receive the light of the tzaddikim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being mashpia down into our generation in a unique way. That we're zoicha, that we're mamish zoicha, that ashreinu shezachinu. We don't have direct access, but what we can do is be bendabek the drachav. We can attach ourselves to the processes. And that just as we go through the processes and the midos to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kachi gam haderech legabe mitzvos hadveikas b'chachamim. So too with regards to the mitzvah of connecting to the chachamim, of being mistavik to the chachamim. She anaf mi mitzvos hadveikas b'Hashem, which is a branch of the mitzvah of dveikas and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connection to the tzaddikim, dveikas to Eretz Yisrael, dveikas to the Torah. All of these are extensions of the mitzvah of dveikus to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is mechuyev upon a person at every moment of their conscious awareness, which is why kavana and intentionality are the only tool. That when I can orient my mind properly, then I have a mitzvah of being mistaving myself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of attaching myself to the innermost point of truth that rests underneath all levushim, that rests underneath all concealment, and I have the necessity of being mistavik to the nekudah pnimis. That's what I need to do. All of these things are branches of Dveikus b'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Sha'al yedei ha'halicha b'dracheim ha'kadoshim nistavkim b'hem. That by way of following the holy paths of the tzaddikim, we also attach ourselves to the tikkunim that those tzaddikim brought into the world. U'memela muvan, says the Rabba. And now it's clear, al pizeh, shekeshem shematzinu sharabeinu zal yaga, l'ayinu legalos hasoides agnuzim b'mamri barabba barbachana, that just as the Heiliger Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman, spent so much effort pushing himself in order to reveal the hidden secrets within the Mamrim of Rabba Bar Chana. Af anu mitzuvim laleches bedrachav. So too, we have the responsibility of following down his path, and we are also going to try, says the Rebbe, to uncover the secrets of Maimrei Rabba Bar Chana, la'ayin b'ma'amarim elu, to really gaze deeply into these ma'amarim, lefi erchenu, in accordance with our limited relative position, limtzoa b'hem soidos noisafim, not to say the essential secret, but to add upon what has already been said. To add upon what has already been said with new secrets, in accordance with the particular part of Torah that is being revealed to us through the Torah itself, by way of our connection and bittul to the true tzaddikim, who have cleared out and cleaned out the path for all of us. So what the Rebbe is doing here is describing why he has the permission to go in and follow in the path of Rabbi Nachman in terms of trying to understand the depths of the secrets of Rabba Bar Chana. But that's true for each and every one of us as well. Like we said, any person who's going to hear any of the words in the shir means that when the Rebbe said over these words originally, according to this particular humble, empty vessel of trying to convey it, if one is chosen to actually hear the words of the Rebbe, the way that they resonate and what they mean for each and every person is also the chelik of Torah that's shaykh to the person's heart at that particular moment. And just as the Rebbe is saying that we have the responsibility to follow the path of Rabbi Nachman, so too we can be contained within that opening that the Rebbe provides, because we're also trying to draw forth chidushim nosafim from the light of these maisim of Rabba Bar Chana, to the degree that any ounce of comfort that comes from our understanding of the Rebbe's understanding of Rabbi Nachman's understanding of the tales of Rabba Bar Chana is also drawing down the essential light of the Mamrim of Rabba Bar Chana and being Mekayim this inyan of Vahalachta B'drachav, of following the Eitzah of Rabbi Nachman, of trying to draw out new insight from these teachings, because every time I have a moment of Yeshiva Das, that's a new insight from these teachings. Zok Teheliger Rebbe no Stalid. Inyan hatuma amarim v'hayud gimel maisios shebesipori maisios. The notion of the 15 ma'amarim connecting to the 13 tales of Sipurei Maisios. We're going to read through this part relatively quickly because the Rebbe over here is describing why, in truth, each and every one of these ma'amarim of Rabba bar Chana, because they represent the same Torah of the Sipurei Maisios of Rabbi Nachman, that they should be connected one and the other. Why is there going to be a difference in terms of the numbers? The 13 tales of Sipurei Maisios represent the 13 tikkunim of the Dikna Kadisha, the 13 rectifications of the beard, which represent the drawing down of the Yud Gimel Midos Arachamim through the Yud Gimel Midos Shatar and Nidreshes Bahen, through the freedom of the Jewish mind and heart to understand Das Elokim in accordance with their own heart in that particular moment, and to draw down the Maisa Mamish and the secret of being Mamtik, all of the Gevuros, and Ratzak Kadosh Baruch Hu Dir B'Tachtoinim. So that's the 13 tales of Sipurei Maisios, and the additional two of the 15 that make up the Maisim of Rabba bar Chana are going to be the Hashem, the two payos, the Shoresh Ha'amiti of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's desire to uncover those Yud Gimel. So it's going to be the Yud Gimel Midos plus the Hashem, Koidim the Yud Gimel Midos, which is going to reveal the secret of Rabba bar Chana's 15 Ma'amarim. V'hinei yesh b'mamri Rabba bar Chana tu Ma'amarim. When it comes to the Maimrim of Rabba bar Chana, so there are 15 utterances. There are 15 tales, visions, dreams, however the tzaddikim revealed them to be taking shape. V'yesh lomar, and we can say, says the Rebbe, that these are the aspect of the two tikkunim shel Hashem shel ifnei hayud gimel midas arachamim al pi minyan ha'arizal. That this is the 15 tikkunim with Hashem plus the yud gimel midas of rachamim, which the Arizal counts. Shehem keneged beis hapeyos. The Hashem, which is going to be the Mem Tzadi, Pei Tzadi, which is the Atbash of Shem Havaya, is going to be the Shoresh Ha'elyon of the Gevuros, which is why we shave the hair and reveal the Peyas on Lag BaOmer, because it's the secret of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who was the first one to reveal within Sipurei Maisios, within the Sipurei Maisios themselves, of day-to-day experience, the light of Pnimius HaTorah is revealed in the Zohar Kadosh. So it's these same 15 Ma'amarim of Rabba bar Chana which are attaching themselves to the light of those two Tzimtzumim, those Peyos, Shemehem Nimshachim Achar Kach Kol HaYud Gimel Tikkunim the Dikna. It's those two Peyos that from there come the 13 Tikkunim of the Dikna, of the Kel Rachim V'chanan, of the beard themselves, Shem Bechinas Oros HaKeser. So the 15 tales of Rabba bar Chana are like the source of the light of the Keser that's Niskala in the 13 tales of Rabbi Nachman Sipurei Maisios, Ukenizka Le'el, that the Maisios of Rabba bar Chana, Kishuros l'Sipurei Maisios Mishanim Kanmonios, are fundamentally connected to the tales of ancient days of Rabbi Nachman, in the aspect of the Bechina of Rachme HaKeser, that by attaching ourselves to these stories, we're awakening not only the Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim of Arich Anpin, but we're uncovering the source of those tikkunim in the secret of the Rachamim Rabbim of Atik Yoimin. Uvechein Ashkachan B'Sefer HaKadosh V'Hanoira Sipurei Maisios Shasiper Rabbeinu Zal. We also find this in the Sipurei Maisios of Rabbeinu Zal. Shagam Heim Bebechinas HaSipurei Maisios Meshanim Kadmonios. They're also this element of drawing down the light of infinitude into limitation, the light of Atik Yomin into our own experience. And they also have 13 Maisios Keneged the Tikkunei Dikna. And Be'emes, says the Rebbe, Hayam in Haroi l'Shaviv b'chol biur shel kol memra the Rabba bar Chana biur be'echad me'ayud gimel maisios be'asipurei maisios. And in truth, it would have been appropriate in each and every one of the tales of Rabba bar Chana, there should also be an explication and understanding of the 13 tales of Rabbi Nachman Sipurei Maisios, ve'ulai nizke behemshech lo hisivsos. And perhaps in the future, says the Rebbe and his Talmidim in Tafshin Ayin Gimel and Ayin Beis 2011, 2012, that perhaps in the future we will be to uncover this. And perhaps in these shiurim we'll try to see how each and every mimer can also connect to one element of the Sipurei Maisios of Rabbi Nachman. Zok the Heilige Rebbe in terms of describing why these ma'amarim are found specifically in Bava Basra. Rav Tzadok HaKohen Melublin, the Karti, Rav Yonis and Eibshitz, Chusag and Aleinu, all of the tzaddikim express that up until and including ourselves, when there's a bittul of a Torah Lishma, every part of the Torah is significant. The numbering, the pagination of it, the binding, every element of how a book is set up can be nidrash, especially books that were written with Ruach HaKodesh and set up in Ruach HaKodesh, which is Gant Shas and the Torah of Torah Shebal Peh. So if something is found in the Masechta of Bava Basra, for example, then we have to understand its connection to Bava Basra. We have to understand why are the Maisios of Rabba bar Chana, which are these Maisios of a connection between Bina and Chochma and revealing the Torah of Ani and Ayin B'Vasachas, why are they going to be found specifically in Bava Basra? Be'emes mashma b'Zohar HaKadosh, the Zohar HaKadosh implies that Meseches Bava Basra He keneged ha'geula ha'achrona sheyibana ba beis hamikdash hashlishi. And this is what Bava Basra means, literally means the Bayis Ha'achron. The Zohar HaKadosh in Chela Gimel Daf Kuf Tzadi Ches Amud Beis, Amud Aleph, implies that Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, and Bava Basra represent the three Batei Mikdashim. Bava Kama was the first Beis HaMikdash, Bava Metzia is the second Beis HaMikdash, and Bava Basra is going to be revealed as the third Beis HaMikdash, which is going to be the unification of all of them. ובזה מתברר מדוע האגדות הנפלאות של מימרוס דרבא בר חנא שהם בבחינת סיפורי מייסיוס משנים קנוניות שהם בבחינת תורה דעתיקה סתימה הם דייקה במסכת בבא basra. And with this the Rabba says explicitly, he says this is why we understand why is Rabba bar Chana found in Mesechus Bava Basra, because this is the Torah of Gula, of connecting the dry land with the sea and revealing the sea and the dry land, connecting ourselves to a living tzaddik that gives us the access to the tzaddikim asher ba'aretz hema va'adira kol chef sebam yirbo atzmoisem kamoim, that as Rabbi Nachman says, drawing down on the words of David Malka Mashiach and the Hakdama to the Hakdama to the Tikkun Klali, that what we're trying to do is connect ourselves to the living tzaddikim and to the tzaddikim we're already beyond. We're trying to connect ourselves to the lower yud and attach ourselves to the upper yud through the secret of the vav, which is going to be the Torah of Geula. And because the Torah of Geula is represented in the Sipur Maisios, Meshanim Kanmonios, and the stories of Rabba bar Chana, they're going to be found in Bava Basra as well, in the third Beis HaMikdash, in the secret of the Gula Shlema. The Giloi Sodes Elu de Rabba bar Chana, that the revelation of these secrets, and we have to understand, if we look at the Hakdam of Tafshanayin Beis and Tafshanayin Gimel, those years were very ripe, as the Rebbe says, as the Rebbe always says. It's not about a year that's actually going to be Geula, because we're not Min Choyshev HaKitzin, but each and every moment is Ra'i for Geula, but each and every year holds within itself particular Ramazim, and the year of Ayin Beis, Tafshin Ayin Beis, Tafshin Ayin Gimel, and from there till Tafshin Pei Beis, and what the Rebbe described already in terms of Tafshin Pei Hey, which is just 13 years from Tafshin Ayin Beis, this was a time where the Rebbe was very focused on the Hisgalus of the Gilui of Seidas HaTorah, L'Oyer, the Rachamim Rabim, that was inherent within that year, which was a year for many, many people of Tafshin Ayin Beis, which was a year where many, many people were focusing on the inherent capacity of Geula and the processes that began, that continue to express themselves through the footsteps and the ikvus of the Mashiach in our generation, and particularly our year, Tafshin Pehei, which is Zman of the Hiskalus of the Chesed, the Bayim Chol Yuma, the Chesed from the Amma, the light of Chesed, the light of connecting the Torah of the Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Nachman together. And because the Torah of Bava Basra is the Torah of Geula, and because the Torah of Rabba bar Chana is the Torah of Geula, it's Ma'orer, the haschala v'ha'ara me'ha'or she'yaskala la'asid lavo be'beis hamikdash hashlishi, by learning the ideas that are connected to the Beis Hamikdash hashlishi, by learning the Torah of Rabba bar Chana, what we're encountering and being ma'orer for ourselves is the light of the third Beis Hamikdash that we can draw down into our lives to be ma'orer, the light of wakefulness within slumber, which is the secret of the Sipur Maisios Meshanim Kanmonios. Because at that point, Sa'az Yitkaimu Divrei Pasuk, in that point, the Pasuk is going to be clear, V'sha'av T'mayim b'sasvim mimayne ha'yeshua, that we're going to draw forth water with gladness from the well springs of redemption, from the well springs of salvation. And what the Targum says, v'tekablin ulfin chadase, it's going to be a new giloy of the Aleph, a new giloy of the Torah of Atikas Tima'a. V'im kain neskalu daika b'seif b'meseches Bava Basra, the Torah of Rabba bar Chana is explicitly revealed in the Masechta of Bava Basra, Shikeneged Beis Hamikdash ha'achron de la'asad lavo, because it's correspondent to the Beis Hamikdash of the future, which is going to be revealed by Ezra Hashem. Zak the Heilige Rebbe, so we decided and we discussed why it's in Bava Basra, why it's in the last gate, because it's Moir the Geula, but why is it going to be in the fifth parak? Right? There's klal, prat, and prate pratim. So the klal we understand. Then we can see in the prat, okay, it's Maseches Bava Basra. But that's not enough. We have to go into the prate pratim. Why is it this parak? Why is it this daf? This is the entire secret of the Taurus Chacham, Be'ikr, the Darga of Rav Chaim de la Rosa, upon whose name the Beis HaMikdash of the Tzaddik is named. The secret of Erchei Akinuyim, the Arizal revealed the klal, the Rashash revealed the pratim, and the Taurus Chacham came down to show how it's within the prate pratim and the prate pratim, that the farther down we go into the irreducible particularities of concealment and we reveal the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu there, so too is going to be the intensification and the glorification and the ascent of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kavod specifically from within the pratim themselves. So we have to go down, down, down into the most minute details that seem so insignificant to reveal the hyper essentiality that rests there in order to reveal how the essence itself contains everything within itself. Kaviyachol. V'hatam she'agados the Rabba bar Chana mofios daika b'haschalas perik chamishi de Bava Basra. Why is it that the agadatos of Rabba bar Chana are revealed specifically in the beginning of the fifth parak of Bava Basra? Yesh loimer, we can say the halo yedua, we know from the Tzemach Tzedek, from the Gra, that the Beis Hamikdash Harishon haya keneged Avraham b'soid HaChochma. Beis Hamikdash Hasheni keneged Yitzchak b'soid Habina, Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi keneged Yaakov b'soid Hadas Mechaber HaChochma v'Habina. Like we were discussing before, that the first Beis Hamikdash corresponds to Avram Avinu, which is Chochma, which is Ayin. The second Beis Hamikdash corresponds to Yitzchak, which is the secret of Bina, which is Ani. But the third Beis Hamikdash, the secret of the Agadatos of Rabba bar Chana, which is the connection between dry land and the sea, the Yam and the Chachma. The Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi stands in correspondence to Yaakov, the secret of Das, a Das that is not lower than Chachma and Bina, but a Das that is rooted in the Das HaNe'elam of Reisha, the lowest Yada, the secret of the Pnimius Adas, of the Pnimius of Keser, which is the secret of Laman Das Kol Amei Haaretz, where everything is going to be revealed, to be connected, and that's the Das that's Mechaber Chachma and Bina. That's the secret of Yaakov. That's the secret of Bava Basra. That's the secret of the last Beis Hamikdash. Besoid the Ois Hey Miramezas al Das, and we understand that the Ois Hey Bishleimuso, a big Hey, represents Das. Hey Hayedia. Hey Hayedia. The He Murkeves Meos Dalud Umeos Yud. Why? Because Das, Keser, connectivity, is composed of both a Dalid and a Yud. It's a connection between Chachma and Bina. Between Chachma and Bina. Das always holds both. And therefore Das is the Osei, because the Osei is composed of both a Dalid and a Yud. The Os Yud is Miramezas ala Chachma. That's the secret of the Yud of Yosef HaTzadik, who was Zeichet to receive all of the Chachma from Yaakov Avinu. And the Os Dalid is Miramis on the Bina, which is Miramis on David HaMelech, on the secret of Bina in the heart. This is going to be Irker Nakuda, that there's always going to be Chachma and Bina, and we need both in order to reveal the secret of Keser and the secret of Aniva Ayin B'Vasachas. So the first Beis Hamikdash was the Chachma of Avram Avinu, which is the Os Yud. The second Beis Hamikdash was the Bina of Yitzchak Avinu, which is the Os Dalid. Yosef HaTzadik Yud, the Dalid of David HaMelech. And both of those go in to create the Gilui of the Hay, which is the Hay of Das, the Hay of Yaakov, which is going to root itself back in the highest place imaginable of Keser Elyon and Olav Nikra, to be Megala, how both and all are always connected, revealing a singularity that is higher than all the splitness. Zok the Heilige Rebbe in Os Zayin. Ha'emuna hu zos ha'mechaberes hasakol. What is this Das? What is this connectivity? What is the Das that we're trying to uncover over here in the Os Hay, in the secret of Bava Basra, in the Hay, in the fifth parak of Bava Basra? So v'chein miramezes osei ala chibur habina v'hamalchus. So now the Rebbe just said that the Hay and ultimately the stories of Rabba bar Chana are going to be fundamentally about connecting Chachma and Bina, about connecting the Yud and the Dalid. And that's what the Hay of Das is. But over here we're going to see a different erech of the aliyah that's necessary in order to bring about this inherent connection between Chachma and Bina. Because B'derech Klal, we talk about, we want to bring Malchus all the way back up to Chachma, to reveal the connection between Aniva Ayin B'Vasachas, between Bina and Chachma. But sometimes in order to bring Malchus up, in order to bring Malchus back up to that secret of Chachma, where it belongs, we have to first and foremost bring Malchus back up to Bina, or draw Bina back down to Malchus, as we've been seeing so much in the Ramchal's Biur on the Ijer Rabin Adir Bamarom. So here the Rebbe is going to give a different erech as to why we're going to find the Hay and the fifth parak of Bava Basra to be the place of these teachings of Rabba bar Chana, and it's going to be the relationship between Malchus and Bina. But they're not two separate shitos. The Rebbe's second shita over here of Malchus going up to Bina being the Hay, which is the fifth parak of Bava Basra, that is the prerequisite to reveal the second or the first interpretation of the Hay as being the Das, Apnimi, and the Keser of being Miyachid, Chachma, and Bina together, which is the Daled and the Yud, which contains the Hay. So here the Rebbe is now going to explain to us the first stage, which is drawing Malchus back up to Bina, as the Baal HaSulam says so often, and then going back from Bina and to be Machaber, Bina and Chachma to reveal Keser. So So too the Osei that we just discussed, says the Rebbe, hints to the chibur of Bina v'Hamalchus. Sheshtehim nirmezes ba'Osei. When we look at the Shem Havaya b'chitzoni yuso, it's Yud Hey Vav Hey. The Yud is the Chachma, the Hey is the Bina, the Vav is our Anpin, and the Hey is Malchus. So we see that there's an inherent connection between Malchus and Bina because they're the Hey Ilah and the Hey Tata. The reason I say external is because that's the external erech, where Chachma and Zer Anpin, the Yud and the Vav are connected because they're masculine letters, and the Hey and the Hey are connected because they're feminine letters. But the Pnimius, as we've said so often, it's Abi Yisad Brata v'Koinin Shemayim Betvuna, that really the inherent connection and the innermost connection between Chachma is with Malchus, Abi Yisad Brata, and the innermost connection is the mother and the son, which is Bina and Zer Anpin. But externally speaking, at least in the first stage of elevating Malchus back up to Bina so that we can reveal the inherent fullness of the connection between Chachma and Bina biyachad to be Megala the Keser Elyon, so we operate with the perspective that the Hey Tata is Malchus and the Hey Ilah is Bina. And this is what Rabbi Nachman describes in the Kutamaran in Torah Mem Tes Ois Dalid, where the pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, Mi Zois Oile. Mi is Bina, Zois is Malchus, and Mi Zos, when there's a connection between Mi of Bina and Zos and Malchus Oile, then we'll be able to ascend upwards to then reveal the secret of the Yichud of the Chachma and Bina and the secret of Keser. Mi im Zois Oile, says Rabbeinu. Mi im Zois, Rabbi Nachman says, is going to be the secret of the ascent. That's based on Hakdamas Azar. Why? Because these are the Shnei Batim. These are the two Batim Mikdashim. These are the two houses. Beta Ilah, the ascendant house, the ascendant dwelling, which is the sphere of Bina, which is referred to as Mi, which corresponds to the Nun Sha'ari Bina, as well as the Beta Tata, as well as the lower house, which is the secret of Malchus, which is referred to as Zos. So Mi Im Zois Oilel, we connect the lower Hay to the upper Hay, that's going to create the unification. Sheyesh L'Shneihem Aliyah. When I bring Malchus back up to Bina, then Bina is going to bring Malchus itself back up with her into the place of Chachma, so that that full revelation of Chachma and Bina can be revealed. Ki lo avo be'ir ad de bekirbecha kodesh. Because Pasuk says, and the Gemara explains, that Hashem says, I will not enter into that town until it is refined. Meaning to say, I will not enter into Yerushalayim Shalmala, which is the secret of Bina, until Yerushalayim Shalmata, which is the secret of Malchus, is going to be redeemed. As Rabbi Nachman describes over there, Ki Rabbeinu Zachor Lebracha Darshu, Chazal tell us, on this pasuk, B'kirbecha Kadosh Lo Avo Be'ir, until you're refined and holy, I'm not going to enter into the city. Nishba Kadosh Baruch Hu Shelo Yichnas B'Yerushalayim Shalmala, Ad Sheyavani Yerushalayim Shalmata. HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a promise, I'm not going to enter in to the upper Yerushalayim, which is the secret of Bina, until you enter into the lower Yerushalayim, which is the secret of Malchus. V'isa b'kesvei Arizal, and the Arizal describes that the kavana of this, in accordance to the secret, is that Bina, which is the Ima Ilah, which is the Beta Ilah, that's the aspect of Yerushalayim Shalmala, and Malchus, which is Beta Tata, the lower dwelling, Hi b'chinas Yerushalayim Shalamata. That's the aspect of Malchus, Yerushalayim below. She'ein hayichud Shalamala shu b'chinas Aliyas Beta Ilah Nishlam, that the yichud above, which is going to be the ascent of the upper house, which is Bina, going back into Chachma to reveal the yichud of Chachma and Bina, that's not going to be complete until we first and foremost Ad Shenivra v'nivne v'nishlam b'chinas Malchus b'shleimus, until we perform that fullness of the Malchus down here. Shu b'chinas Aliyas Beisa Tata, which is the rectification of Malchus down here. Ein Sham ba'arichus, which is the teachings of Rabbi Nachman and Torah Mem Tes. B'sharash hachibur hazeh, and the essential source of this connection, Gamkein meha Malchus ha'elyona, is in truth rooted in the highest place, which is the Keser, which is the Malchus Agnuza Baradla, which is also referred to as the Hey. B'chinas Hey da'atika, shu b'chinas halachem zara, hamuskeret ba'lukuta maran, she'amuna hi zu shemechaberes hakol. So we have three shitos that the Rebbe is giving as to why the agadatos of Rabba Bar Chana are found in the beginning of the fifth parak of Bava Basra. It's Bava Basra because that's the Torah of Geula. That's the Hisoris of the Bayis Shlishi. But why parak Hey? So the first explanation is that Parak Hey represents that Hey Hayediyah, the Hey of Das, which is going to reveal the Chibur of Chachma and Bina and the secret of the Yud and the Dalid that compose the Mashiach ben Yosef of Chachma, Mashiach ben David of Bina. That's the Das. That's going to be revealing the secret of Aniv V'ayin B'Vasachas. But that can't happen until a person first and foremost rectifies the first expression of the Hey, which is the ascent of our Malchus back up to Bina, where I take my Hey Tata, my experience in this world, and I'm mamtik all of the dinim in the secret of Bina, and that's the secret of mi imzos. So we have the first hey is going to be the das hapnimi of the yichud of Chachma and Bina, but that can't be expressed until we first encounter the secret of the hey and the secret of the connection between Malchus and Bina. But then what the Rebbe adds at the end is that the Shoirish Achibor Hazeh, my ability to connect Malchus with Bina, is in truth rooted in the Malchus Elyona of Reshad Lois Yada, which is the secret of the Chibur between Bina and Chachma in that upper place of Das, which is also hinted to in the Hey of Atika. So the ability to reveal the unity between Chachma and Bina that takes place through the Aliyah of Malchus into Bina is only taking place because HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given me the strength from a light that exists even higher than Chachma and Bina biyachad, for my ability to awaken the unity from down here below up above to reveal more from above down below. The secret that I have to be ma'ira the yichud from below in order to be mechaber it above. I have to first and foremost draw Malchus up to Bina, the second explanation of the Hey, in order to actualize the yichud of the Hey in its higher level, which is the yichud of Chachma and Bina. But what the Rebbe is explaining, that the koyach for me to be ma'ir myself from down here below, in order to awaken above, is in truth rooted in a strength that comes from me, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is in a place higher than anything I could ever reach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always the one driving the show, driving the car, even when it appears that I'm the one driving the car. And that's the secret of the Emunah, which is Machaber HaKol. What the Rebbe doesn't add over here, so I'll say it as an asterisk, the Rebbe doesn't go into the daf and why it's going to be found on daf Ayin Gimel and Ayin Dalid. So Ayin Gimel, the secret of Ayin Gimel is Rosh Tevos Gan Eden. It's the Chasadim Ilah. It's the Shem Havaya of Ab, which is Yud Vav Dalid. Hey Yud, Vav, Hey Yud, which is the gematria of Chesed, and the Shem of Ayin Beis. And the Gimel, Ayin Gimel, the secret of 73, is the Achdos HaBoira, the Aleph HaElyon, the Panemius of Chesed, that Niskala as the root and the source of the Av, of that Chesed Debayim Kol Yuma. And that leads us to Ayin Dalid, which is going to be the secret of the Shem of Bitachon. Bitachon is the gematria of Ayin Dalid. Bitachon is the secret of elevating Bina back up to Chachma. Bitchu B'Hashem Ad De Ad. Ad is the gematria of the Shem of Lag BaOmer, Achadadam, which is Aleph, Ches, Tes, Dalid Mem, which is the Osios of Elokim that go above. So we go from the place of the chesed, that's niskala, we understand in Ayin Gimel, which is the giloy of the aleph of the ab, which is chesed, which is the shem havaya of Mala Yudin. So that's the recognition where all of the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes from. But that light of Chachma descends down into the place of Bina, which is the secret of Ad, which is the secret of Bitachon, which is the secret of the struggle. And when I can reveal it within the struggle itself, then I'm going to be Zoichet to the secret of drawing both of them together, which is going to be the Chibor of Bitchu B'Hashem Adei Ad and La'olam Va'ed. And so that could be also why they're going to start on Daf Ayin Gimel and Ayin Dalid. And so we have what the Rebbe describes as the reason for the Agadatos of Rabba Bar Chana to be found in Maseches Bava Basra in the 5th parak, which is the Os Hey. Biur Shmo HaKadosh Shel Rabba Bar Chana. Os Ches. We're almost towards the end of this first shlav of what we're going to be discussing. The Rebbe continues, and he says, "Va'amnan Rabba Bar Chana atzmo yesh lo shayches lechibor dechachma v'bina." Not only is the reason that these agadatos are found in the 5th parak because they represent the true unity of Chachma and Bina being fundamentally rooted together in the secret of Keser, but Rabba Bar Chana himself represents this same secret of the connection between Chachma and Bina, the connection between Ani and Ayin, the connection between all rightness and not all rightness. Shehu hachibor the base Batei Mikdashim, which is the connection of Avram and Yitzchak and those two Batei Mikdashim of Chachma and Bina to reveal the third base Hamikdash. Sheshmo Haya Abba. Rava Bar Chana's name was Abba, which is the secret of Chachma. As we're going to see later on in the Gemara, that the Chachamim called him Kol Abba Chamra, that they referred to him as Abba. The Abba Kiyadua who kinoi the sphere of the Chachma. Abba says the Rebbe represents Chachma. So we see on the one hand, Rabba Bar Chana represents the sea itself, the Chachma itself. The Bar, Chana, but the secret of being the child of Chana, which is Merames on Bina, as that Rizal points out in the Kavanos of Chanukah. Da Hashem HaKadosh, the Svirus Abina, Shu Shem Sag, which is not the Shem Ab, which is Yud Vav Dalid Hey Yud Vav Aleph Vav Hey Yud, which is the gematria of 63. That's the gematria of Chana. So we see that Rava Bar Chana is Abba and Chana. It's Chachma and Bina together. So not only is this hinted to in the placement of the Gemara that these Gadatos are found in, which is the Bayis Shlishi, which is Machaber, the Bayis Rishon and Bayis Sheni, of Beis Mikdash Rishon, Beis Mikdash Sheni, of Chachma and Bina. Not only is it found in the 5th parak, which corresponds to the unification of Chachma and Bina, But it's referred to in the very name of Rabba Bar Chana in the secret of Shmo Garamle that this was always going to be his mission, that his name itself hints to the secret of the unity of Chachma and Bina, Ani and Ayin, Bavasachas, to reveal the secret of Keser. V'chol divrei Rabba Bar Chana, says the Rebbe in Ostes, ne'emarim kavyachol b'bechinas guzmaos. It's one of my favorite teachings from the Rebbe, this paragraph. All of the teachings over here from Rabba Bar Chana are going to be exaggerations. They're going to be utilization of imagination to the nth degree, things that are not possible in the limited conception of the mind to grasp reality. And why is it that there's such exaggerations here? Why is it that it's speaking B'lashon Guzma? So Zak the Heilige Rebbe, the reason that it's spoken B'lashon Guzma is a remez la'olam de la'asilavo sha'azim aleishchak pinu, that it's a joke. The utilization of imagination, the utilization of poking holes and forcing reality to crack up and to reveal the laughing nature of all things of azim aleishchak pinu. So that's the world of la'asilavo, of Guzma, where things are going to be operating in a place where imagination is refined, and that's going to be the only way that things can be expressed. She'olam haschoik hu olam hachi gavoya, that the world of laughter, the world of schoik, the Rebbe brings down from the Tzemach Tzedek all the time, that schoik is the gematria of Or Ein Sof, that the highest world is the world of schoik. It's the schoik di Yitzchak. The highest world. Why? Because schoik magia meha keser, because schoik comes from the place of keser, as is explained in the Sichos Haran, that all unification of opposites comes about by way of laughter. It cracks things up in order to reveal the inherent connectivity between things, and it's the sha'ashua hapnimi of the Levyasan and the Gilui of Sodas Torah. V'zem merumas b'tevas az yimalei schoik pinu, and this is the secret of az yimalei schoik pinu, az in the future. In the future, there's going to be a laughter that fills our mouths. There's going to be a laughter that emerges of the revelation of the unity of all things. The Aleph is Merames on Chochma. It's the first of the Sfiros. The Zayin is Merames on Malchus, which is rooted in Bina, which is the lowest. The Chiburim al Yedei Haschoik de La'asalavu, and the connection between above and below, Chochma and Bina, Chochma and Malchus, is only through laughter. Sha'azim alei schoik pinu. Only when we relinquish our control of knowledge and we enter into that laughing, fallen apart place of imagination and laughter and pretend and make believe and sha'ashu and pinimim, only then can we experience the process of geula hakroiva shetiyeh berachamim, that it's going to be b'derech rachamim. And so we see why the stories of Rabba Bar Chana are going to be spoken out with such guzma, with such exaggeration, with such freedom of imagination. And in Osei, to finish off this Hakdama, the Rebbe says as follows: V'yihi ratzon, may it be the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shenizke kfar legilui ha'or ha'elyon da'atika stima, that it should be already that we merit the revelation of the light of above, the ascendant light of Atika Stima, the light of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Shema'isios the Rabba Bar Chana him ha'esnoitzitzutz mimenu kenizkaleo, that the stories of Rabba Bar Chana, the Sipurim Maisios, Meshanim Chanmonios, are hitznoitzitzos. They're sparking. They're the laughing sparks of that light of the future. And we should be zoichet to yeshakeni meneshikas pihu ki toivim doidacha mi'ayin, that we should be zoichet to the kisses of his lips, the kisses of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's lips, and that sweetness that is sweeter than wine. As Rashi explains, Al Shem Shenasan Lahem Tayraso V'daber Imam Panim El Panim V'oisem Doidim Oidem Arevim Aleihim Mikol Sha'ashua Umuvtachim Me'ito Lahifia Oid Aleihim Levayer Lahem Soid Ta'ameha Umistar Tzvoy Naseha Umachlim Panav Lakayim Devaro V'zeu Yishakeni Mineshikas Pihu. Zot the Heilige Rashi on Shir Hashirim. What does it mean Yishakeni Mineshikas Pihu? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you gave us the Torah and you spoke to us Panim El Panim. And that loving kindness that you offered us, the Torah that you gave us, you're going to come. You promised to us that you're going to come, and you and you forced yourself. You made yourself arev ledavar, to return to us, to return to that Torah, with all of the sha'ashuim, and to reveal all of the sha'ashuim, and to promise us that you're going to return to reveal more light upon them, to give us insight into the secrets and the reasons that are hidden within them. And we're yearning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for you to be makayim your words, to reveal the Torah, the Atika Stima, to reveal the Torah that fixes everything, to reveal the Yishakeni Mineshikas Piyu, to fix everything that is broken, to fix the Shivrei Luchos. You promised, Hashem, you promised you would come and you would give reasons. You promised you would come and be a Megala the Hester. You promised you would come and be Megala the Hastar Shabbatoich Hastara. That's what Yishakeni Mineshikas Piyu Hitoivim Dedecha Miyayin reveals. Shal Yedei Limud Asayda Satira by entering into the secrets of Torah, Meviim es ha'geula berachamim. We bring about redemption with compassion, the revelation of Torah. K'de'isab Zohar Kadosh, like the Zohar Kadosh says, begin the Asidin Yisrael lematam me'ilana dechaya de'iu hai sefer hazohar yafkin me begalusa berachmi. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you promised us that when we taste the light of Pnimius Torah, when we taste the light of the Torah of the Asalava, which is the Eitz HaChaim, which is the Sefer HaZohar, that's the way that you're going to redeem us from exile itself. Not that it's just going to be the schus that brings us out of exile, that too. And it should be now, take it from miyad mamish. But it also means within the gullus of a person's innermost gullus, the gullus hadas, the gullus of the chibur between chachma and bina, the issues that arrive when the mind and the heart are no longer connected, the issues that arrive when ani va'ayin are not connected anymore. We also orient ourselves and awaken ourselves towards a rachamim rabim, a geula berachamim from those places as well. Amen. Sela be'ezras Hashem. Okay, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us strength, and we will continue after Yom Kippur with the first Maisa of Rabba Bar Chana with the Rebbe's commentary be'ezras Hashem.